Hello, listener. I'm Kate Henson, your in house passionate political change maker.
And I'm Wendy Piepenberg, a lifetime psychic medium.
And we are friends.
And we are the Living with Purpose podcast.
Welcome.
And enjoy today's episode.
Hey, listeners, welcome back to the Living with Purpose podcast. On our last episode, Wendy and I talked a lot about releasing old narratives, toxic relationships, and finding ways to step into your new timeline. Today, we've decided that we need to go deeper, and it's not just about the letting go. We need to have serious discussion about after the transformation begins. Now what? What do you actually do? How do you live differently in your mind, in your habits, and even your relationships as you adjust to this new version of you? Before we get started, though,
we want to just thanks Japan, Vietnam, the Netherlands, Venezuela,
Peru, Mexico,
Colombia
North Macedonia
for listening. We're really excited to see that you've been listening to our podcast. So we're thrilled, and we're hoping to continue to share our insights and help you guys out. I love Carl Jung. I studied
Who doesn't?
psych in school, and he's great. And one of the things that he said was, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." And our awareness creates choice. So one of the first things I was thinking about today when we were talking about, okay, so you've released the past, you've forgiven, you've been processing the letting go, how important it is to just stay aware. Keep your eyes open to who you're becoming, who's around you, what's around you. Just how important that is. And to remember that things aren't happening to you, but always for you. I don't believe in coincidence, personally. Do you?
No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
agree with
surprised.
you. Yeah.
We never really talked about that. That's what's fun about this podcast. We learn about each other. Our friendship deepens as
Yeah.
we share our lives and insights with everyone. But one of the big things we were talking about before we started today was the importance of
Boundaries.
boundaries. Boundaries are the structure that protect you. I read, and I thought that was brilliant.
I think that's a nice way to sum it up. Oftentimes, you'll see people get overwhelmed, or what I've noticed is when, I'm talking with folks, it seems like such a big lift
Mhm.
because it's a change. And I think one thing that you can keep in mind are the different types of boundaries.
Yeah,
It's not a physical thing, but it's also not just, oh, I'm not going to talk to this person anymore.
there are different types of boundaries. There are emotional boundaries, there are time associated boundaries, there are energy associated boundaries. So, just to clarify a little bit, if we were to talk about emotional boundaries, that's going to look like
Not over explaining. I know I'm guilty of this. How guilty are you of this, listeners? You are a smart, intelligent person, and you can explain things appropriately, but we're so caught up in unsuredness that we will then continue to over-explain. Also not good if you're in a sales position. Once you block that sale, don't keep overselling because you'll lose it.
That's so funny that you say that, because when I lived and worked in San Francisco and I was in high-end art sales and I loved it, I remember how important it was to just say, "So what do you think? Can you see this piece in your house? You love it?" And then just be quiet and
Yes.
let them process. You don't have to convince anybody of things they love, and you don't have to convince anybody to love you.
I think that's a big part of it's it's not always about you, right? It's not about
Yeah.
me as a salesperson. If they don't buy this piece, it might not be because of me. Maybe they honestly
Yeah.
don't like it or don't have the money or it's not their
Yes.
aesthetic.
That was my experience. If somebody loved it and they could do it, it was an immediate yes.
Yeah.
We give people space to see where they're at.
I love that.
Yeah.
Another big one, and as an empath, it's something I have to work really hard at, is not absorbing others' emotions.
Yeah.
Those are their feelings, not yours. It's not your
Mhm.
job to manage other people's feelings.
Yes.
I will say with the caveat that if you have littles, sometimes it comes into play, but you cannot take that emotion on
No,
yourself.
you can't take it on yourself. And you want to be careful to limit the emotionally draining conversations that you have on any given day, monthly, year.
Mhm.
I don't find like this too difficult at times. Like I don't tend to over explain. I think sometimes I won't absorb other people's emotions, and sometimes people might look at me as kind of cold at times. I'm clearly not. I just have really good, firm boundaries.
Great.
Yeah, to
Let's
not
celebrate that.
yeah,
Good job.
it's important to celebrate it in a sense. That's what it looks like to have emotional boundaries. Not over explaining, not absorbing other people's emotions, and limiting those
Mhm.
draining conversations. And then another type of boundary.
You've got time boundaries.
Mhm.
This is something I struggle with for sure. Saying no without guilt. I preach this in the programs we do, and I do my best to live by it. No is a full sentence. Again, I don't have to explain to somebody why I can't make a meeting or, why I'm not going to move forward with a certain project. Sometimes
Mhm.
just no. And then prioritizing rest.
So important. When you have a business, you're going to be taught these things because you're working with people all the time. But prioritizing rest in my work and my business, it's so crucial for all of us to do this. But if I'm in a reading and I'm connecting with the other side and I'm doing the psychic work and I'm doing the medium work and this is going on for hours at a time, if I don't rest, my health is going to suffer
Mhm.
and I'm not going to be tip top for the next readings. So it's really important to build your rest
Absolutely.
to your life and to your
I
schedule.
have seen you after readings, and you always look great, but you can
Yeah, I'm
tell that you're
exhausted.
tired
Oh yeah, I
afterwards.
think I look really different. I've done before and after photos.
Oh,
Oh
that's gotta
yeah,
be really
it's
eye-opening.
really, really weird. I remember once I was working with a film crew in New York and we were in Washington Square Park and there was a film festival going on. I was kind of reading these random people and it was so much fun. At the beginning of the day, I was just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. At the end of the day, the picture was like, I looked so bad. I was so spent. New York City itself there's a
Oh,
lot of
very
energy.
energetic,
So I'm
yeah.
trying to read in the middle of New York City. It was great fun, but it was a bit distracting. I just needed so much rest after that.
I recently heard a quote that I've really latched onto, and I preach it to all my friends.
Mhm.
Rest is it's a right,
It's a
it's not a
right. Oh,
privilege.
gotcha. Yeah.
Rest
Yeah.
when you need to.
It's important, and if you have to build it into your schedule, do that. When you're resting, it'll be easier for you to pull up boundaries when you need to.
That's true.
Yeah.
Our
You won't be
society
so easily teeter-tottering on saying yes and no.
I can't stress to you how much that is true, and I support that, and I encourage everybody to rest.
Mhm.
In our society that drive all the time, gotta be working, it's cool to say how many hours you've worked in a week. It's not sustainable, and also it goes against everything that is actually good for you.
Yes.
That guilt will drive people to continue that way of living for until they burn out, but it's incredible when you do take the time to rest, even though you're not working on your TPS report or whatever your job
Mhm.
is, you will feel so much contentment and
Mhm.
productivity
Yeah, you'll
even after
feel
you
better
rest.
prepared, and the things that bothered you times 100 before you rested won't they won't give you that same degree of anxiety once you've actually rested. I could always tell when my daughter she's so cute,
Oh,
when she would
yes.
just be so tired and she would start rubbing her eyes and she would just start to get I mean, to this day,
Aw.
and now she's a grown up, but she's still like, well, it might be a little bad or rub her eyes a little bit, and I just can always tell, "Oh, you just need a little nap, honey, and everything's gonna be better.
They
You
have
need
those
to
tells.
rest." So it's also good to remind those that you love around you the importance of rest as well.
The first thing that came up for me too is my girls when they
Yeah.
get super tired or
Yeah.
really emotional. We're also at the preteen stage, and so with hormones and emotions, it's a
Oh,
lot in our
yeah.
house,
It's a lot.
and inevitably, if I can get her in a bubble bath and
Yeah.
have her calm down and get a good night's sleep the next
Yes.
morning, she's like, "No, that wasn't a big deal." That's not what it came across as last night, but I'm glad that you're in a
It's
better
so
space.
important. It's so important. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but one thing that would help my my little one, when she was a wee girl, was she had a lot of anxiety before she'd go to sleep. I'd made up this game that said, let's just, think of you've got a handful of balloons and we're holding balloons and we're in this field and it's really lovely and you're in a safe place. And let's talk about what you're worried about in each balloon and we'll send it up to God. And then we would go through those things. There may be one thing, there may be five things. And then I would say, okay, now let's bring down balloons, each one full of something that you wish for, something that you want to feel, to experience, to have. And that can also be really calming and restful for your little ones
I
when
like
they're feeling a bit of anxiety
I will try that.
before bed. Yeah, I found it really helpful.
Sometimes I like to play a game with my husband, which is the complete opposite. Let's go with what could the absolute worst possible scenario be for this situation?
Oh my god. So you can problem solve it? Is that
Yes,
why you do
or at
it?
least really we're like, we knew this was a possibility. It doesn't hurt so bad. But knock on wood that it hasn't, that has never come to fruition, that it's been the absolute worst case scenario, but
Yes, yes.
it's a fun distorted game that we play.
That is funny. We
Alright.
used to play top 5, like, what are your top 5 this? What are your top 5 that? Like, driving or just
Oh,
hanging out. I felt like that was a nice way to connect and continue to learn about each
I'm
other.
I'm gonna steal that one too.
Yeah, we should do that sometime.
Oh,
We
yes,
should do that
us,
sometime.
yes.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
do it.
that'll be another episode,
Yeah, it will.
um, because we're prioritizing our rest today. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna give Wendy some time to take a nap, and then we're also protecting our personal time. That's the other time boundary that you have to be aware of.
Yeah.
You have to set aside time to do your journaling or, my best friend, her thing is baths. She has to take a bath every day.
Mm,
It's her
mhm.
15 minutes where nobody can bother her and she can just reframe and
I love
regroup.
that. It doesn't have to be an expensive spa day.
Mhm.
It can just be you turn off your phone for a little while, you limit access,
Yeah.
and you take care of yourself.
Mhm. Could be a workout,
Mhm,
could be taking a walk, doesn't matter, but whatever you need to do to refresh.
mhm.
Make sure you schedule it in if you have to. So you've got that time blocked off.
Yes, absolutely. The third type of boundary that you wanna be aware of is energy boundaries.
Mhm.
You wanna limit access to toxic people
Mhm.
around you. Sometimes it's not always easy to recognize who they are. Sometimes their intention is not to be that. Sometimes their intention is to full on be that. But you wanna be able to recognize that. That's why staying the awareness is really key. You wanna be able to recognize who is toxic, who is stealing your energy, who
Yeah.
are you allowing for that to happen. When you have really healthy boundaries in place, you'll no longer allow for that.
And choosing the environments that support your growth are important too.
Yes.
It might mean you have to leave a workplace
Yes.
or
Mhm.
not hang out with certain friends, or it could be there are certain places that I don't enjoy going. There's no real reason for it. I just don't like the way it feels. So I
Mhm.
don't go to that store
Mhm.
or that restaurant,
Mhm.
or sometimes it's even that friend's house. Like if we're going to hang out, you
Mhm.
got to come to my place.
I was in a session with a client the other day, and they are looking for new work. And I recognize them as being very empathic, like very sensitive, highly sensitive person who has to be very careful about their environment. For me, I can't have like fluorescent lights or too much noise or um garish colors, or I'm just too sensitive to all of those things.
Mhm.
So our, I'm very conscious to have created a reading environment that is comfortable for people, I hope. But
Absolutely.
for this particular client, I said, it's going to be really important for you if you're not working remotely to go to the actual company before you're interviewing remotely. Go to the actual place that they're asking you to work or to live. Be in the space and see if that's a right fit for
Hmm.
you. Because everything is energy,
Yes.
and you will know right away if this is an environment that's going to be conducive to your growth and or one that won't be.
Hmm.
So, you know, go to the places you think about living, the neighborhoods, go to the places you think about working, the corporation.
Yeah.
See, kind of vibe it out.
My sister just took a new job in Bentonville, Arkansas. Won't say the name of the company, but you can kind of guess who it was.
Mhm.
And I would say that whole organization has a vibe, and you can feel it as soon as you drive into town. Yeah,
Yeah?
it was really pretty powerful.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. Am I supposed to know what it is?
I'll tell you later. But getting back to boundaries, the third option you have for protecting your energy boundaries is just walking away.
Yeah, from anything chaotic,
Mhm.
confusing,
Uncomfortable.
uncomfortable. It doesn't mean necessarily conversation, but it does take discernment to know whether a conversation is worth having.
Yeah. Even
Do you know?
whatever
Or
gets your
not?
hackles up, if it's not working for you, you just gotta go. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. And also when it comes to boundaries, I think, we were talking about what questions do we ask when we're learning about, our own boundaries? What situations make you abandon your boundaries? My first thought was it used to be that I felt like I had to be really nice
Oh,
all the
yes.
time,
Be a
right?
good girl.
Yeah, not have a voice, ignore my intuition. I'm really glad that we talk about this more and that more women are practicing really just saying no or hey,
Mhm.
that's not cool.
Yeah. We've been struggling with that at home. My husband is very much on this kick where he wants the girls to say please all the time.
Mm,
And I'm in the camp where, like, we're at home. If they're asking nicely and not demanding, that's good enough for me. But
mhm.
he'll make them ask repeatedly until they say it just the way he wants. And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Is that really how you want them to behave all the time? It's like, because if you're ingraining that in them,
Do you teach them to just say thank you constantly for every single thing? Like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kate. Thank you. And okay, if you can do that, then maybe we've got it.
yeah, it's not going so well because he's getting frustrated. So
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I thought it would be helpful both to help him not get frustrated and also to help him not teach the girls to just be doormats.
Or just you don't abandon yourself to keep the peace.
Yeah.
I say please and thank you all the time.
Yes.
I say it all the time. But you have to know when that is maybe not the best thing
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. If
You
you're being
know,
accosted,
exactly. You need
don't
to
be
say
nice.
no.
Yeah.
And you want to always feel that you have a voice that's authentic and true
Mhm.
and where you can express yourself and not feel that you can't. If you're in an environment where you feel like you don't have a voice and can't express it, I think it could be time to think about how to change that environment. If you can't do it externally, you can begin to work on the internal stuff until externally something can change and happen.
Mhm.
But you are not meant to not be heard.
Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
So if you haven't already, listener, make sure you have a piece of paper and a pen. You can write these things down so you can also ask yourself what situations make you abandon your boundaries.
Mhm.
And then once you've done that, next you have to think about who drains your energy.
Mhm.
Start
Mhm.
being aware of the people in your life. It could be your best friend. And I'm not saying that you necessarily need to cut all ties with these people. You just need to be aware so that you can pump yourself up
Mhm.
before you're with them. Or you realize that you'll have to recharge after so you can then schedule your day appropriately.
Yeah.
Or it could be that it's a relationship you don't need, or you at
Yeah.
least don't need to put so much of yourself into.
It's probably not your best friend.
Probably not. This is true.
My best friend and I, we get together and we just laugh hysterically. We can't stop laughing. It is such a charge of energy.
Oh, that's the
It
best.
is nonstop
Yeah.
laughter. I can just hear her giggle and it just, I don't know. There's just something about that. It can, the opposite is when you surround yourself with people who are the opposite,
Yes.
then you're going to get a real charge together. I mean, best case scenario, right?
Oh,
You,
absolutely.
you, you let laughter into your life and goodness and sharing and respect. And my point is, we're talking about boundaries, like what we need to keep out, but we also need to remember all the things to let in
And
too.
yes, that's a good point.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a
So
yin and a yang.
yes, there's a yin and a yang, but journaling can be really helpful too. Journaling your feelings about things, particularly if you're not feeling like you're in a place where you have a voice right now.
Part of the journaling could be these questions. Also, track what emotions make you revert to old barriers, right? Because if
Mhm,
you're feeling tired or sad, or if you're happy and you don't want to let that go, in order to keep that good feeling going, you might slip up. So
Mhm.
that's important to keep
Yeah. And be
keep
easy
track
on
of.
yourself because not everyone in your life are you going to have to hold really stern boundaries with, but it's just good things to be aware of. You want that in your toolbox when you need it
Mhm.
so that you are creating a life that is your own. You are creating a life that you choose as you're becoming the next version of yourself
Yeah.
too.
You're gonna also wanna observe what creates anxiety versus peace for you. So that goes back to
Mm,
that yin and yang. Most people repeat unhealthy patterns unconsciously because they don't take the time to pause long enough to recognize them. So journaling
mhm.
is a good way to recognize and be able to manage that kind of
Yes,
stuff.
yes. I always notice that I journal though. I think we've talked about this when I'm feeling really extreme emotions, like really happy or really sad. So anybody who would get a hold of those journals would be like, whoa, she's very up and down. But so be it, whatever. If
That's right. Well, you can tell me what drawer they're in, and I'll get rid of them
oh my gosh,
in an
there
event.
are tubfuls of I've been journaling since third grade.
Wow, I admire that.
Yes.
That's
Since
awesome.
literally and not always consistently, but yeah, for many years and can attest to how helpful it has been to just have a place, particularly when as a child, I didn't always feel like I had someone who was really available
Mhm.
to me to talk about my feelings with
Okay.
consistently. So I think that's where it started. And it's never too late to begin that. And then when I look back, oh my God, you reflect and how important is it to reflect on
Like,
and I really see where I was then and how far I've come. So it can be really empowering as well because in those moments you feel like you're just going to be in that moment forever or that situation or whatever forever.
right.
In LA, did I ever talk about this? And there's this place in LA, a couple places when I lived and worked there, and it was hilarious. You bring your journal from like age 13 or 14,
Oh, yes, yes, keep
and
telling the
people would go
story.
up on stage and read parts of their journal. It was hilarious. It was really hilarious because it's just a reminder that we're all human. We all go through these different stages and phases of our lives. And what we think is a forever thing is not,
Yeah,
and then
like
some things
like
are.
middle school.
Yeah, like what is happening in middle school,
It won't
do
last
you know?
forever.
I look back and I go, "Wait, who's Tommy again? Which Tommy was that?" But I remember which Richard it was. Do you know? Like,
Uh-huh.
some people are just more.
Yeah, stick with you.
Yeah, definitely.
I recently went through my high school yearbook, my senior yearbook, and I was surprised at how many people I did not remember at all. Oh my gosh.
Like, life just fast forwards after that, and
Certainly
you
does.
and you're in it.
Yeah. Well, part of that fast forwarding, if you're doing all of this journaling and keeping track, you're doing the work to rebuild your inner identity,
Mhm,
which will also help
mhm.
you live in this new world that you're creating.
Yes, and you'll be, creating new practices for yourself, and it's important to have also the gratitude for everything that you have released, and what we're really talking about in a lot of ways is shifting from seeking who are you and what is purpose to being of service to the world in the ways that you have found are important for you to share in your own way, and you're moving from loss to future gains in that way too. Sometimes I think about our podcasts and I just think it could have just been 3 seconds long. Like, what is your purpose? My purpose is to love. Thank you. Good night.
No, now it's a TED Talk.
Yeah, like that is really what I think we're here to do. If we sum it up, we're here to love and learn how to receive love and give love, but it's really what it's about and how do we share that, our purpose and how do we show up for that and share that in the world? But I digress. I was kind of
Well,
going
that's
off there
beautiful,
on a
though.
tangent.
I'm glad you shared it.
Okay, thanks.
I know for me, as I go through these stages and phases of life, and you talk about doing things differently, having the language having somebody else share with me the language that I could use to do things differently,
Mhm.
especially around self-talk,
Yes.
and manifestation has been super helpful because I was really sad for a very long time, and just saying, "I don't wanna be sad anymore," wasn't enough, right? I needed
Yes.
different
Yes. It's like, "What now?
different
What now?"
words. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, and
And feelings of self-worth.
so instead of saying to yourself, I have to prove my worth," replace it with, "My worth is inherent."
Mhm.
It seems like a small shift, but internally, it
It's
was
huge.
huge.
It is
Yes.
huge. To me, it's the same thing as you. You are a perfect child of God. You were born a perfect child of God.
Mhm.
And any imperfection is part of that. Some of the greatest mistakes are the greatest blessings.
I hope our listeners really take that to heart. Everything about you is just the way it was supposed to be, and it's perfect.
It is. You are perfect. We were talking about songs that could be really helpful as you've released and are moving forward. When I worked in music, um, so interesting how all of this led to psychic medium work. But when I worked in music, I had met Melissa Etheridge, and she's just one of my favorite human beings, like singers and songwriters. Amazing. And she has a song. If you're going through a breakup, we were thinking about songs that might help you at different times in your transition. And she has a song called The Letting Go that could be, it's an older song. It's a beautiful song. It could be really, really helpful. So Kate and I are going to give you a couple of different songs that we think could be really kind of help you to get through. Music's powerful. It's an energy itself.
Mhm.
So you might want to have a listen to some of these songs. Is there one that sticks with you, Kate?
For
Or
me,
four?
whether it's a romantic breakup, which I've been married a long time, so that I
Mm-hmm.
don't see it in the cards at the moment, but it could
Yep.
also be, I lost myself for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That was really powerful and terrifying and sad, and
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
or losing a job. Unstoppable by Sia has been one that's been on my playlist for a
That's
long
great.
time, and I'll
That's
forget
great.
about it and I'll come back, but I highly recommend that. And then anything by Pink, but especially I Am Here. When I feel like I don't know what to do or I'm not doing the right things, mm, Pink, I Am Here does it for me, and then
She's
I feel grounded
fantastic.
again.
Yeah, she's fantastic and strong and wonderful.
Yes.
Um,
Pink, if you're listening, please come on our podcast.
I was just in Scotland, and it's one of my favorite places, and was fortunate enough to be part of a small tour with John Prine's guitarist for a long time named Jason Wilbur. Just wonderful. He and his wife are just wonderful people. And I was inspired to listen to Angel from Montgomery by Bonnie Raitt, and the version that Bonnie Raitt and John Prine sing. And it's just so beautiful. And I think that's another song that, as you're experiencing change in yourself,
Yes.
it's a very spiritual song,
Right.
to listen to that. And then the rocker in me just thinks, triumph, fight the good fight. You know?
I love it.
Yeah.
I would be remiss. This song was having a moment. Unwritten by Natasha
Fantastic.
Bedingfield.
Yeah.
What better song to make you wanna open up a notebook and write a story,
Yeah.
or just be okay with starting the
Yeah.
next chapter of your
She's
journey?
great. And also, I love Florence and the Machine. Dog days are over,
Absolutely.
right? That's a good one to dance break too.
Yeah.
So bringing in these songs. Oh, and we can't forget "Watch Me Bloom" by Haley Williams. That was not a song I knew as well, or it may have been as popular. Maybe it was. That's a really good one
Mhm.
to to bring good energy to yourself as you're blooming, as a human being and becoming more of who you are. Just really beautiful. Really beautiful.
I don't know about you, but I have a friend group where basically our entire chat is just sending songs back and
Really?
forth to each other. If I hear one and it makes me think of them, I send it to them, or if I just it really resonates with me, "You guys gotta hear this."
I love it. I just love it. I think that's good. Keep send each other songs. Their energy, songs are energy. Energy is everywhere. When I was in high school and what the goth kids were listening to and their misery and
Yes.
what I was listening to, and I was so happy. I mean, all
They
the
were
time. I'm sure they had really happy moments
yeah,
too.
they were very much in their
And
feelings.
yeah, very much in their dark feelings.
I would love it if our listeners would send us your songs.
Yeah,
Give us your top
send us
5,
your
your absolute go-to, this will get you out of a funk, or if you're in one of those moods where you need to cry, it has to come out. What do you put on where you ugly cry in the car
yeah. I think
and then
some of
feel
the
better?
songs we even mentioned will
Yeah.
elicit feelings within you that could help you just continue to release a little further, depending on what you're going through, whether it's a breakup or a new job or just a big change in yourself that you're noticing.
Mhm.
So it was fun to talk about
It
that.
was.
It was fun to talk about. And we talk about purpose all the time. And when we were talking about kind of shifting from seeking who you are and sharing these things, sharing it with the world, whether you're an artist or a therapist or a psychic or the mayor of a town, um, your purpose is where passion and the needs of others in the world meet, right? How important that is to remember that even though we're talking about have boundaries with toxic people, it's still really important to remember that we are all one. We are all connected. That doesn't mean that we say yes all the time. In fact, saying no can be the most loving thing you can say to someone and, for yourself. There
Yes.
have been very difficult times in life. I mean, can you think of times that were really difficult times in your life where you just had to say no to something you really wanted to be a yes
Mhm.
because it wasn't healthy? Whether it was a relationship
Yeah.
or an opportunity, a job opportunity, something you may have really wanted to say yes to that you just had to say no to
Mhm.
for your own health. Those are boundaries too,
Mhm.
and quite can be quite difficult. So it's not easy to do. We have to acknowledge how very difficult holding boundaries can be. I think particularly for women.
Life is so hard.
Life is so hard.
I wish we had a silver bullet, magic potion, prayer spell that we could craft and just make it easier. In lieu of that, we'll continue to bring you this podcast
Yeah.
and create moments of joy in our own lives, and hopefully they filter over to you listeners so you can
Absolutely.
find some joy in your
There are
journey.
there are really no shortcuts to that. You wanna go through and as you continue to move forward and release, remember to celebrate your small victories. They
That
all matter.
that's a way to find joy.
Yes, that's a way to find joy. Every step of the staircase matters. Celebrate each one that you're taking and remember to, seek support if you feel stuck. It could be seeking a therapist. It could just be telling someone something you need to tell them
Mhm.
that you
Yeah.
haven't yet,
Having the hard
right?
conversation.
Having the hard
Yeah.
conversations. And then also,
Finding ways to stay positive. Uh, Wendy introduced me to a fun thing.
I
I don't know what to call it.
think it's a
Routine.
helpful, yeah,
Helpful hint.
yeah.
Everybody has Post-it notes at your house. Write something positive on the Post-it note and put them everywhere you'll see them. Put them on the bathroom mirror. Put them in your car. Put them in the laundry room because that's where I'm at all the time.
Yeah,
It just is a little reminder and it gives you a little pep in your step throughout the day.
and make it really personal to yourself. It might say something like, "I'm grateful for this new path." Whatever it is that you're having particular trouble staying positive in,
Mhm.
write that down. If it's a negative thing, flip it, turn it to a positive.
Go from I'm too much and replace that with I deserve to take up space.
Exactly. Exactly. So remind yourself of these self-loving thoughts. Put them where you see them. They say if you do these things for 30 days, if you pray for 30 days, if you meditate for 30 days, if you have these sticky notes in front of you for 30 days, you will change your mind and you will begin to see the more positive aspects of things. I used to have one upstairs. I think I still do. It just says, let them love you. Because I'm so independent. Whatever it is personally that you're working on, like sometimes I just have to be reminded, just let them love you.
I love that. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being vulnerable.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I think that's what it's all about. We've talked about Brené Brown. She always said that you can never have true intimacy with someone without vulnerability.
Hmm.
So sharing our stories and hearing stories from you listeners reminds us of our oneness, how important it is to connect and for you to never feel alone because you never truly are.
Yeah, never alone.
And sometimes for me, in my spiritual world, no mortal man can be that for me. So I go a bit higher.
Hmm.
I know some people have faith and some people don't. Wherever you're at is where you're at. But I know that always helps me when I was a child and working through my own psychic abilities and things like that. And I would feel really alone in that because I just thought everybody else had them.
Had it. Yeah.
And when I realized they didn't, there were many moments where I felt alone, but my relationship, for some reason, even then with God was so strong that I never felt alone.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had an imaginary friend when I was little.
Oh, that's right. That's right. What was the name? Do you have a name?
Pity.
Pitty.
Pity.
Hello, Pitty. Is Pitty still around?
Not really. Sometimes, we bring her out for
Do your
funsies,
kids have
but
imaginary friends or did they?
they both. My oldest did for sure. I think my youngest doesn't understand and just kind of plays along.
Interesting. You never know. They could be like spirits. Well, my
Yeah.
daughter had an imaginary friend named Maya. Yeah, we'd
Interesting.
have to bring extra toys for Maya and she would talk to Maya.
Okay.
I wonder if she even remembers this.
Oh, you have to ask her.
Yeah, I'll have to ask her.
Pity was famous in my family. Even my cousins sometimes they'd be like, "We're playing with Pity."
Really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Looking back on her as an adult, I remember her just looking exactly like me. Maybe I had a twin in utero and
Maybe you do. There could be a spiritual element to these things, I think.
yeah. For my youngest, I don't doubt that there is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so too. I
All right.
think so
Well,
too.
what is your story, listener? What are the positive affirmations that you are going to start making sure that you're seeing all the time? Did you have an imaginary friend? What are the songs that you use to manage your emotions to either pump you up or just let the tears flow sometimes when you need that release?
Mhm. And think about today, the one thing, it doesn't have to be 10 things that you really struggle with in terms of how you're feeling about yourself or another that you want to change,
Hmm.
and write that change down and keep it in
Yes,
front of you, and it will change.
it will. And sometimes just changing one thing will have a domino effect, and then other things that you're struggling with in life get easier.
That's true. It's like when you go to clean one little part of your house, and then you end up seeing 100 other parts of it can be a lot, but just take it on.
It's all right. All
Thank
right.
you so much for listening.
All right. See you soon, listener.
Thank you for listening today.
Please be sure to like, follow, or subscribe to the Living with Purpose podcast.
And help us and someone you know by sharing today's episode.